and gentlemen, welcome to I.P.W.R. episode 7. This episode we are going to cover a few shows. First off, I want to recap Empire Pro Wrestling March 26th show. I want to, first match we started off, I'm going to announce, we had Warren Powers, who defeated Dominic Whiteheart for Dominic's championship spot on the show. We also had the Psychotic Messengers, Maniac Mike and Malachi, defeat Duncan Kincaid and Darren Bain. We had the Oklahoma hardcore legend Kareem Sadat defeating the youngster Ryan the Ripper. We had Kyle and Father Padge taking on Maddox Jones and the E.P.W. heavyweight champion Corbin Sage. Of course, Kyle and Father Padge did end up winning that match itself. Then we move on to the main event. We have your E.P.W. All-American Champion Striker defeating the E.P.W. ITV Champion Adrian Vega. Now, a few more things. I can pull it up here. I want to, this Saturday, I.P.W.R. will be at G-Con in Durant, Oklahoma. And then the 8th, we will be at Unified Wrestling Oklahoma at the Biltmore up in OKC. We will possibly be at Wrestle Against Hunger on the 9th. That is tentative right now. I also, then one more, we also have the 30th, Thirst for Gold. I also want to cover a few things that have the tendency of bothering me. If you have to sit there and you want to talk a big game about how you're a great wrestler and that, this and that, and, just don't. Okay, because it irritates me when people who can't wrestle have the notion to go off on their ego. Another thing that also irritates me, everybody, if possible, should help tear down and set up a ring. I said, if you think that you're better, and I've been on shows where people have done this, and people have said that, if you're there for the whole show. No. It is a choice to set up a ring. Should you set up? Yes. Because your dues in the pro wrestling business never stops. I said, I don't care if you think you're a superstar, then you, my friend, are the problem. And of course, for those who pay attention to Facebook, those who actually have me on my Facebook, I.P.W.R has officially partnered with Empire Pro Wrestling for the foreseeable future. Now, when I went to my first Empire show, I didn't know what to expect, but after the show was done itself, I was instantly hooked. I got to meet some friends that I haven't seen since like '08. I've got to see some new faces, and I've got to see, make friends. And I've also got to see some people who, in my opinion, since I've started doing these podcast shows, whether it's here or there, I've seen some people who definitely don't deserve to be in the ring, in my opinion. If you have to be handed something, I honestly am the firm believer that your stuff should be earned. I said I can care less how long you've been in the business, what you've done for the business. If you think that you're entitled to a bunch of stuff because you've done this or you've done that, then you deserve what's coming to you. Plain and simple. I've been seeing some deathmatch wrestling. Now, I personally, I'm old school when it comes to wrestling. Not a huge fan of it, but I do respect the guys that do those types of matches, like 100%. The pain, the threshold that the guys got to put themselves through. Now, I can understand doing something like that if it makes sense. I'm a firm believer that if you're going to do something, have it make sense. Don't just do something to just do it. I'm also going to do a weekly or monthly shout out. However, I decided to do it. Last shout out was to my buddy Kyron. I also want to do a shout out this one to a few promotions. UWO, Unified Wrestling Oklahoma, and Empire Pro Wrestling. Before I got hooked with those guys, I started losing the spark in the pro wrestling business. But it was those guys in both of those locker rooms that got me my spark back. There is also, again, guys, in the last post, I do have a email that I made, and I'm going to start posting it in the description. And feel free, as long as it's wrestling related, feel free to ask questions or leave comments. I said, as long as you leave your name in the subject line, I will answer your question. This podcast probably isn't going to be very long. I don't know when the next one's going to be up. But remember, this Saturday, I will be at G-Con in Durant, Oklahoma. I will be covering that show as well. And we have a bunch of more shows coming up, probably up until mid to late 2022. Like I said, I don't know when the next podcast is going to be up. So I do, once again, thank those that do watch. I do really, really appreciate it. More news will be coming soon. Oh, and before I go, we at I.P.W.R would like to send condolences out to all of the wrestlers, legends that we've lost in 2022. I'm not going to name any because I don't want to end up forgetting somebody and then getting the ass end of it. The recent one I will mention is the bad guy himself. It sucks that we lose people in this business, but the reality part is it's the nature of the business. Some people die young, some people live a great life like he has. That's what some people that are not in the wrestling business don't want to realize, is that the toll it takes on the wrestler's body. As some wrestlers have short careers, some have long. It just depends on the stuff that you do during your time in the business.